Hi guys, how are you doing? Last time I uploaded a video regarding Malaysia. The content was just my academic analysis, but thankfully it was viewed by many people, mostly from Malaysian friends. And also, I received many heartwarming comments by them. As I told you before, I used to stay in Malaysia with my family in the past few years. The purpose of my stay was go to a graduate school there and also let my son experience an international school. As Japanese in the 40s, I was an international and mature student there. Before entering the school, I made a preliminary inspection of the places there. It was the things of the past in my life, but I'm gonna summarize here regarding my first impressions of Malaysia. So, let's begin! This is entitled My First 7 Impressions of Malaysia as Japanese Guy. Number 1. Malaysians also feel hot on a sweltering hot day, don't you? Believe it or not, it was the main purpose of my visit to Malaysia. I was born and grown up in Hokkaido, where it is situated on the northernmost part of Japan. We also have a hot summer, but it was beyond imagination for local Hokkaido people to live a life in an area of tropical zones throughout the year. I thought that Malaysians had a genetically different constitution to resist extreme heat. But when I visited Malaysia for the preview, I was surprised to see that everywhere was air-conditioned. Aircon was activated strong enough for me to require an extra jacket. And more surprisingly, there are some places activating aircon while keeping the outside doors open. Japan doesn't have much natural resources, including crude oil. So, you need to save energy in Japan. Based on regulations, in public places, you are not allowed to switch on aircon unless it was hotter than 28 degrees in Celsius. You can imagine how much surprised I was. Number 2. Toilet paper nowhere, but Wi-Fi everywhere. For my previous trip, I visited Malaysia for the first time in 2014. Wi-Fi was not widely available in Japan at that time. As is often the case with mid-aged persons like me those days, I didn't even have my own mobile phone. For your reference, this is the diffusion rate of internet-related devices among some major countries. Japan was outdated in this regard. But once I entered Malaysia, everyone walking street was using a mobile phone. Oh my gosh! Besides, Wi-Fi was accessible at any places. Even hawker center having shabby tandas had free Wi-Fi. It's unbelievable! On the flip side, a Malaysian washroom was a killer. In Japan, you can expect more comfortable toilet with an electronic shower system. But in Malaysia, a shabby hose was sometimes left on the wet floor. I couldn't figure out if this wet comes from someone's pee or just clear water. I had to hold it by hand. Ouch! To make matters worse, I didn't sometimes see any toilet paper at tandas. I had long believed that toilet paper was kind of essential item, probably more important than Wi-Fi in a way, because any animals including human beings entail excretion behavior and you cannot truly finish it with just toilet papers. So, I had to carry a box of clinic tissue in my backpack during my stay. Number 3. Doors and windows of Malaysian houses looked prisons. Nowadays, Japan has a various problem, but as they still say, Japan is a country of free of charge for drinking water and safety. In terms of comparison with other countries, I don't deny that. So, it was kinda shocking for me to see there were iron barred windows even at upper level of the houses. Because in Japan, This can be seen only at confined spaces like a prison or a mental hospital. Anyway, you must know that we don't have any security grills at doors and windows in watching Doraemon on TV, right? Meanwhile, there were a lot of more splendid features in Malaysian houses. For instance, rooms are spacious, ceiling fans are powerful, all furnished or semi-furnished rooms are quite common, and swimming pool and training gym of condos are gorgeous. Also, unlike Japanese, Malaysians don't appear to put their nameplates on the entrance gates. It sure annoys a postman to deliver letters, but I thought it would be a good idea for security reasons to protect your privacy. Next, number 4. Sunway was awesome! Before leaving for Malaysia, I conducted preliminary research and had already known that there existed a conglomerate called Sunway. For my previous visit that time, I stayed in a satellite city of KL named Subanjaya. I knew that this area was developed by Sunway Group. Sunway runs real estate business, traffic system, hospital, resort hotel, and even university. At the end of my visit, I dropped in at a shopping mall called Sunway Pyramid. Boy, it blew my mind. It was just so big. It had anything you want. I didn't imagine that I saw a skate rink in a tropical country. Okay, let's go on to number 5. Swim with algae and trash bag. Another purpose of my visit to Malaysia was to understand the going price of residence in Malaysia. By net surfing in Japan, I'd already found a few affordable condos. Ooh, looks nice. And then I visited there in person. Gee, the back street of the condo was dark, and I was shocked to see the swimming pool. Trash bags were floating there. Besides, there were algae of all things. In fact, I saw someone littering here and there in Malaysia. For instance, this is the lobby of the hotel at which I stayed. The lady there was cleaning outside, but she just moved the trash to the next building. Is that all? No dustpan? Well, I must confess that these were a bit disappointing. But I came to understand that was what Japan also had been through before. Japanese would also often litter trash and cigarette butts outside in my childhood. Number 6. Wild dogs were really wild. Speaking of dogs in Japan, they are a really popular animal as pet. The movie titled Hachi: A Dog's Tale 2009 is an emblematic one which was produced based on a true story of a Japanese dog. For your reference, this is a photo of real Hachi that I took at Ueno Museum, Tokyo. You can still meet him of a stuffed animal here. Anyway, most Japanese think that dogs are lovely friends. Basically, Japanese dogs are medium-sized with short legs. For the safety reasons such as the risk of rabies, wild dogs are supposed to be captured by a health center. So, in Japan, nowadays we can hardly see wild dogs. Meanwhile, in Malaysia, I sometimes saw a pack of dogs. Besides, they were all tall with long legs, sometimes like a hound dog or wolves. On the last day of my stay, I arrived at a train station called Port Klang. I was surrounded by a pack of child dogs and I felt a bit scary. Finally, number 7. A road of Malaysia is dangerous, thrilling, and tricky. To my surprise, when Malaysians drive cars, they made a curve without turning signals. And also, they didn't make a curve in turning signals sometimes. That way, you never figure out to which way they were willing to go. It was so tricky. Besides, there weren't many traffic signs and traffic lights, so once you go the wrong way, it appears that you end up with going forever and hardly had a chance to stop and make a U-turn. Heavy rainfall in the evening brought out a sea change of the road surface conditions. During my trip, I often took a taxi. It was a flooding road due to torrential rain. No offense, I truly love this country and the people. And I can't thank more for giving me such splendid experience of my studying in a foreign country as an international mature student. But these were my first impressions and experience I encountered at my first visit. Likewise, I know that many Malaysian friends show interest in Japan and they like Hokkaido too. So I'm gonna keep you updated what's happening here in Hokkaido through my vlog. Okay, that's about it for today. Wishing you guys to understand my samurai Japanglish. Sayonara. Have a great day. Let's try it again. I have videotape.
Okay. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Perfect.
Moshi kami o kami-san ni?
Kame-san.
Kami.
Not me, but me. Kame.
Kami.
Kame. Kame.
Oh.
Kame-san yo.
Okay. After you tell the